Okay, hi guys, this is Chris for lovecarreviews.com. This is our first weekly video. So we're trying to do something different for Love Cars. Obviously, we've got the reviews going, we've got blogs going, we're going to be bringing in the news soon. So we're trying to do something a bit different, which is just a chat with some guys, people who like cars. That's our thing, that's how we do it. So what we're going to do on an ongoing basis is just start to have like a weekly segment where we talk about cars. We're going to have some guests on here. Just going to talk to people who like cars, love cars, who want to talk about car stuff. So today I'm with Errol from DCT.
Hey guys.
And you might have seen him in a couple of videos we did. We did one with the C63 a little while back. We did one where Errol was talking through his range that he got a little while back as well. And today, with COVID and everything else, we're sitting at home, not too much going on. So we just wanted to have a chat, see what's going on in Errol's world, see what's happening around the car stuff. So Errol, obviously we haven't spoken about cars for probably about 2 days now, I'd say. But what's happening with you? What's happening with the range? What's going on?
So firstly, Chris, I need to give you a heads up before we jump into it. My internet provider is really acting up today. So if there is any glitches or pauses, it's not because I'm ignoring you or doing anything else really. But yeah.
I think we've lost Errol there for a second. Good timing.
Did it cut off?
Yeah, we lost you there for a second, Errol,
right,
just as promised. As promised.
So typical. Sorry about that. So in regards to what I've been up to, well, to be honest, it's been mainly maintenance stuff with the range. Not really done anything fun or exciting in terms of modifications that we probably spoke about in the last video. It's just been really keeping the lights from coming up on my dashboard really. So first thing which we had to tackle was, just because of obviously lockdown and so on, I've not been driving the car so much. I think after not driving it for about, it wasn't even that long, maybe about a week, 2 weeks max, my battery conked out, so had to do some troubleshooting on that. It was, so initially when it first went out, I called up Land Rover Recovery, and they came out literally the same day. They were actually quite good in terms of getting the car back started, but they were a little bit reluctant first time off to actually swap out the battery. So they came over, they charged it up, hooked it up to their car for quite a while, left it running, told me to go drive it for like 30 minutes, and then it will all be okay. So I did that, and then the next weekend it went flat again. So I had to call them out again, which wasn't a problem, to be honest. They're pretty good like that. And I think on the second time, when they came out, they actually did eventually replace it, or it could have been even the third time I called them out. But eventually I got a new battery out of them, which was good.
Okay.
So that was nice. It's always nice to get a fresh battery, so that should last a long time. I was a bit surprised, to be honest, because the car's not that old.
It's about, was it 2018?
Exactly, that's right. So I wouldn't have thought 2.5 years or so after you'd need a new battery, but maybe coupled with the bad weather we've been having, the lack of driving, it took it out. So I should be good for another 2 years.
But speaking of lack of driving, how are you coping with lockdown in terms of, obviously, we can go as far as we can go now. We can't go for drives in the countryside. We'll get arrested. How's it been for you last, let's say, almost a year? Jeez, yeah, a year.
It has been, hasn't it? Well, so firstly, I've noticed when I do go into the car, I'm actually quite rusty in terms of, just my judgment. Because, I purchased the car last year, February, I think, or end of January. And then, like a month later, we pretty much went into lockdown, right? So I've been trying to get back used to the size, which normally it happens quite quickly because then you're driving the car every day. But because I'm now driving it every 2 weeks, pretty much, I still feel a bit new, like it's a new size car. And so that I have to admit, I'm a bit embarrassed to say I am a bit rusty in terms of the size and the judgment, because I used to be really good, like whipping into little width restrictions and tight space and so on. I don't do that in this car right now. So still trying to get used to the size. But still loving it. I do use any opportunity I get to drive. So if we've run out of milk or eggs or whatever it is, I'm like, right, I'll go out, I'll get some. It's an essential. So I go grab it, and I still thoroughly enjoy it. It's a lovely car. But again,
are you going now? Like, 'cause for me,
yeah,
I'll go get the milk,
right.
and I'll bring the milk. Then I'll go back and get the eggs.
All right.
And I'll go back and get the bread. Because any reason I can find to drive. Because right now, all we can do is go shopping
That's it.
and essential journeys. So I'm making as many essential journeys as I possibly can just to keep myself driving.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. Any opportunity I get, I'm out. But it's strange, right? I mean, even being on the roads, I have been seeing. I mean, definitely there's a reduction in cars, but then say come Friday, Saturday, that's when you start seeing a lot more vehicles on the road and so on.
That's true.
But yeah, no, I miss it. I definitely do.
Yeah. What's the first thing you're going to do when you get out of lockdown?
Other than go out to nice restaurants, I do want to start, potentially doing some changes to the car, because what's going to happen is if I don't do it soon, I'll probably just think, I'll do it on my next car or whatever. And,
yeah.
I still definitely want to wrap the car. That's something that I think will give it a nice fresh look, even though I've not had it that long, but that's still on the agenda. And I'm actually thinking, and let me know your thoughts on this. I'm thinking when I do wrap it of just something really subtle, but it makes a big impact, is the tire stickers, the tire writing.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm thinking if I'm wrapping it a color which is quite sporty, quite out there, then it would be quite nice to have some nice tire writing on the tires, just to make it stand out, look different. But what would you think about tire writing? What's your opinion? I think it will look good on your car.
Possibly, yeah. The Cayenne or the C63?
The C63.
Yeah, that could work.
Because it's the right.
When you say wrapping, that's true. Are you thinking, like, because I've seen some cars who just have a very, very thin rim around the tire, for example, in a certain color. Like one of the guys who's got reviews of the i8, for example, yellow i8 with a very thin yellow rim around the tire.
Oh,
you thinking like that, or you thinking actual words and
actual words?
All right.
So it's literally, it's not like a rim protector or anything like that. It's literally on the actual wall of the tire going around.
Yeah.
So it's pretty loud.
There was a Urus, I think, a green Urus at the car show had the same thing, right? Like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's quite loud. It's out there.
That could work.
I like it. You know what? I mean, even going back in the day when, 20 odd years ago, maybe even earlier, it was a thing back then. And definitely in America, it was a thing. But here in the UK, people were a bit subtle. But now it seems to be a lot more popular, especially with, the car wrapping and then so on. It's just a nice little touch to add on the tyres for when it's more of a sporty car. I think if it's, more of a more subtle, then it wouldn't suit the car. But if it's,
I think we lost Errol again. We'll give him a second.
Oh, I'm back.
Welcome. Yeah, so I mean, I think on a thicker profile tire, I think it actually works quite nicely because they're nice and chunky, chunky writing. And as I said, with that, the green Urus, I think that actually looked quite cool.
Yeah.
If it's a thin rim tire, I think it might look a bit too much. That's the thing. I think the trade-off is that kind of good. With your car, your tires are relatively chunky.
Yeah.
I think you can pull it off.
Right. Yeah. So that's something I'm thinking about. Don't ask me what I'm thinking of writing on it because I've got no idea. But just something, some words, some letters.
What about any engine mods, exhaust mods, anything like that at all? On the cars?
The engine. I mean, the only thing that I would do, and which was done on my last range, was the remapping of the engine, which makes it, gives it a couple more bhp, And it even technically is supposed to, make it more fuel efficient. Not that I'm too concerned about that, but you know, when I have driven the older shape Range Rovers, which I had before, with ones which didn't have the engine remap, I could straight away notice a difference. So that
Yeah.
was really, really nice, and I might possibly do that because everybody loves a bit extra power, right?
That's true.
Yeah, so that I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't rule it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of exhaust, I've not really thought about that, to be honest. Yeah, so I'm not too sure. Would be nice. I mean, when I had the CLA 45, that was really nice. The popping and the banging and so on. Although, I think now I kind of thought, right, that was then, and now is now. Kind of use this one more with a cruising car with still a bit of an edge. But yeah, I haven't thought about doing the exhaust. How about yourself? What are you thinking about doing to your car? Anything else? Any stickers?
Based on the fact I keep hitting it into curves, probably not nothing outside at the moment.
Yeah, that's not a good
But
thing.
yeah, I mean the C63, nothing at the moment. I keep thinking about the exhaust tips. I mean that's something I keep
Okay.
looking at because with the next facelift, you've got a slightly bigger exhaust tips.
Okay.
I always feel a bit cheated though because the exhausts are massively fake anyway. So you look inside
True.
those
True.
tips, so the bigger the holes around the exhaust, the
Yeah,
worse it is because you look inside and see the small little exhaust pipe
I
that
know.
actually is the real thing. So
Exactly.
that still bothers me. That always will bother me. But I think apart from that, I think the exhaust tips potentially I might take a look at.
Okay.
I haven't looked at rear diffusers as well. Potentially another potential thing there as well. I put a lot on hold because it's winter and it's just too cold to go outside and even look at the car, let
Exactly.
alone do anything. But
I know.
I think
So
those are
the,
things that I'm thinking about at the
so those
moment.
exhaust tips are they like carbon fiber? Are they black? Are they silver? The ones that you're thinking
Um,
of?
all of the above options. I'm looking more at the black one because everything else is black.
Yeah.
The If I'm doing a diffuser, I'll probably do a carbon rear diffuser to match the
Right.
splitter at the front.
Uh-huh.
Once I fix that,
Yeah.
and then so that kind of matches it off, and I can do the black diffuser because I think they got the night pack at the moment on the car. Everything is black around the windows is black, so there's no
Right.
real chrome on the car. So I'm thinking just to match it all out, do the carbon fiber diffuser and the black pipes.
Well, I'm back.
Cool, welcome again. Don't know how much you caught, but yeah, I was saying I'll look to do the carbon splitter and then the black pipes
Right.
caps more than
Okay.
likely. But I'm waiting
Got
for winter to be over before I do either of those.
I know.
I'm also looking at the Cayenne as well because the Cayenne, the front of it needs something to bring the front down, the bottom of it down a bit to square it
Uh-huh.
off a little bit.
Yeah.
Because now it's got kind of a bit too much of a slope in at the front. On something to
Right.
give it a bit more presence on the road. Nothing too in your
Okay.
face, but something just to get a little bit more presence. So it's just a bit more aggressive. So I'm just looking at
Right.
what's
Right.
available there and what options I have.
Okay. Have you looked at any body kits for it? Like back in the day, do you remember? Is it the Gambala or Gambella or
Yeah.
they
We've got the
really
Gambala
nice
stuff.
body kits for?
Tech Art do some nice stuff as
Oh
well.
yeah,
Company
check out.
Tech Art, they do some really cool stuff. So there's a few companies out there that do. I'm just looking because it can start to get really expensive, and because
True.
I don't even drive it that often. It's Claudia drives it most of the time. I'm like, I don't want to spend too much, and she's like, I don't like it.
Ah, right. Okay.
So keeping one eye on that to see what makes the most sense and what I might
Sure.
do. Something just relatively small to give it that squarer look.
Sure. Got you. Got you.
So
Okay.
keeping an eye on that one for now.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
What about next cars? 'Cause I know if anyone who knows Errol is always looking at his next car, even if
No, I
he
know.
buys, like he'll come home with his new car, he'll start looking for his next car. So what's
Absolutely.
going on there, Errol?
It's a terrible, terrible thing. But you're absolutely right. So I mean, gosh, I mean, realistically, so I look at so many different cars, but and some of them are not even right now realistic, but I look anyway. I think I love obviously the Range Rover SVR.
Yeah,
But if I was to get that, then I'd still feel like I'm in a very similar car to what I'm in now, being a
yeah,
sport, and the inside is pretty much the same. Okay, minor things, right? But I probably would really go for a Bentley, a Bentley GT Continental, because I've always wanted
Okay.
one, and it would feel like a new car in the sense that it's not a Jeep again, so it'll be a bit
Yep.
different. But having said that, I've been looking at also the Bentley Continental, sorry, not the Continental, the Bentley.
Bentayga or
No, so the gosh, I can't remember the name of it now, but the four-door car, the big
yeah,
version.
yeah,
Um, it will come back to me in a second, but they look really nice. But I don't think it would really suit me, to be honest. Because it is a
right,
really big. It's almost like a chauffeur-driven car, but just
yeah,
the luxury of it is incredible. And whilst I was looking at those big four-door ones, the monsters, I then started to look at the Rolls-Royce Ghosts.
right.
Because those are really luxurious and nice. But again, realistically, would I get one? Not too sure. I much prefer the race, but then that's another league really. So I'm quite happy to settle. Well, not even settle, but I'm quite happy to get the Bentley. You know, as the next car. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about right now. How about you though? Because you're just as bad as me, if not worse.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. The I think the C63 I'm going to leave alone for a while. I think
Right.
I still love that car. I love driving it, and every time I drive it, I'm happy. It's I don't ever use sport mode or sport plus or anything. I don't really need to. Just put your foot down and kind of
Same.
go.
Same.
So I think that one I'll just keep. The Cayenne, I have my moments.
Okay.
Yeah,
So the Cayenne's
because
going then. Basically.
yeah, good. No, I think I will get executed for that one. But I keep coming back, and this is a mental problem, I think, because I had, for anyone who doesn't know, we purchased the SQ7 for a while back before we got the Cayenne. We were trying to get an SQ7, and we tried, I think I'd say almost 3 times to get an SQ7, and every time there was something up. So it was either the car was damaged,
Yeah.
paint wise, the brakes were damaged, whatever. And we went through a bunch of courtesy cars, SQ7s as well, all terrible as well. So in reality, I shouldn't touch anything. But it kind of feels like I haven't fulfilled that little thing that I had with the SQ7 yet. So I'm like, I still want to get one just to see what it was. And with the puppy growing as well, I'm like, do we need a bigger boot to put her in? Because once she's a full-on head this big,
Yeah.
we're gonna need to put her somewhere. So hopefully the Cayenne is enough.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, she's already quite big in the boot.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. So yeah, SQ7 I keep coming back to mentally, but what would I? I'm not sure.
I know because I remember all the problems that you had, right, with the brake
Yeah,
or something else, which they couldn't really figure out what was going on. And it was
exactly.
literally, it went back to, them inquiring with the folks in Germany, right? And even
Yep.
those guys couldn't solve it, which is very un-German. So,
Exactly. So
it was a
seven
bad
seven
experience.
weeks we had courtesy cars for 7 weeks. One courtesy car they had to take back for a recall.
Yeah.
The other courtesy car, which was a Q8, they had to take back because there was a problem with the electronics. Apparently, I think it's the windows are linked to the braking system or something ridiculous. They've linked two random things together, and because one had broken, the other one wasn't working. So you're getting a light saying, "Please return to workshop."
Wow.
And that was the point I was like, I'm done. I'm done. You guys can't get even the courtesy cars right. I am
True.
done.
True.
So yeah, so I come back to that because of the size only.
Okay.
The other one that keep playing my mind is the GLS. I think the GLS as a
Okay.
seven-seater, full size, full-on 7 seats, it's still a nice choice.
Right.
The 63s are still running a little bit high price-wise. They're only petrol as well, so to get the equivalent performance I would have had in the SQ7, I've got to go for the 63 petrol. So that's the one
Okay.
where I'm like, for taking Joshy little ones to nursery every day and shopping and stuff, is that really worth it at the moment?
Right. Right. Exactly.
Out of lockdown may be different, but for now, yeah, I may hold on that for a second. But yeah, always looking.
Yeah, no, I know the feeling, and it's one of those things, right? You get your car that you've been looking at for maybe the last few months on Auto Trader, then when you've got it, yep, you enjoy it for a couple of weeks, and then you start looking at something else or the whatnot.
Exactly.
It's
The problem
normal.
is there's so many cars coming out at the moment. It's just
True,
ridiculous.
That is
And
true.
every year they're being facelifted as well. So literally, you're like, okay, I like that one. The
Hmm.
next minute you see like a spy shot, the next version coming. You're
True.
like, seriously.
Exactly.
You know,
That's it.
the new Macan, I love the new Macan, the shape of that. Even the new Cayenne looks really hot. You've got
Absolutely.
the SQ7 that we bought, that's been facelifted as well, which has got
Already.
the round exhaust now. It's got a much more aggressive front. It's got sports bucket seats. It just looks nicer.
Yeah.
Again, it's another 90 grand car. When that drops, there'll be a new one come out as well. So it's kind
That's
of
right. That's right.
you're chasing your tail a little bit in terms of when is the right time to buy a car when the next one always seems to be a bit better.
True. True. Um, I mean, yeah. I mean, and that's why I'm trying to think. Okay, well, rather than me chopping and changing cars so often, to do these small mods. And I'm hoping that if I do wrap it in the summer, that will keep me quiet for like at least another year, because then it hopefully will feel like a new car, maybe.
Exactly.
um,
Exactly.
the other car, funny, you were speaking about, other options, which I forgot to mention. The other one which kind of popped back up, but I'm still not sure if I'll ever do it because I've never ever owned a BMW, is the i8. And the reason why I look at the
Yeah.
i8 is because, in terms of, affordable cars that look like supercars, I don't think there's anything else better on the market,
Hmm.
that looks wise, it looks incredible.
Yeah.
The only thing is when I did test drive one of them a while ago, I was just a bit disappointed in terms of, the artificial noise that it makes. It just felt a bit gimmicky. Inside didn't feel luxurious by any means or sporty. It just felt a bit cheap, if I'm allowed to
Yeah.
say that. But the looks of their outside was fantastic, and that's something that I still think, well, the price of them are actually dropping quite a lot. They're going to stop making them. So, could they be worth something in the future? Maybe, I don't know. And it's electric, and if anything goes
Yeah.
to plan with, I think what Boris and those guys are planning on doing, everything's going to be going electric anyway. So, should I just jump on the bandwagon now and get one of those? Um,
Hmm.
but I have to say, getting in and out of the car is a mission.
Yeah.
When I test drove it,
Jenga,
you
proper
literally have
Jenga
to
style.
jump in and fall out almost.
Exactly.
But it is a incredible looking car, you know. So that's definitely still I'm kind of toying with.
That brings on to a subject actually I want to ask you about, which is electric cars in general.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm gonna write a blog about it soon anyway,
Okay.
to express my view on electric cars generally. But I'm
Right.
still struggling with the whole thing. And
Hmm.
I mean, I've seen, you've got the Tesla, you've
Yeah.
got the Porsche Taycan, for example,
True. That's
and
really
and they're fast. I mean, they are fast as hell. I
yeah.
mean, I think that the Tesla are talking about cars that you can do 0 to 60 in 1 point something seconds coming up.
Insane.
So they've got the performance. Yeah. But what do you think about the
Yeah.
question?
I
Have they
mean,
lost something? Do they lose something in terms of just
absolutely.
it's just technically the sound
Yeah.
is
I think
gone. They can synthesize that.
exactly. I think it's like a mindset shift, right? I mean, we're all
Yeah.
so used to, being petrol heads, having a proper petrol or even diesel engine, whatever it may be. And, especially when you start, feeling the difference between a normal V6 to V8, V10, V12,
Hmm.
you're not going to get that feeling. It's almost when you put your foot on the pedal, you feel that V8 roar and it kind of goes through your whole body, right? And you feel the
Yeah.
power. In an electric car, that doesn't happen. Yes, you get from 0 to 60 really rapid, but it just feels so artificial. So
Mm.
for me, it's going to be difficult shifting over, but it definitely seems that's the way we're going forward, right? So we might have to just lump it rather than liking it. But I do think, I'm not sure if you've seen, is it the Cyan Lamborghini have come out with their latest model. I think that's an electric
Mm.
car. It might be fully electric. I don't think it's a hybrid, but that does, look the part, sounds the part. So I think there's some evolution to be had, with cars to try to at least give us that feeling of a real old school engine, So
Yeah.
yeah. But right now, I mean, everybody talks about the Tesla, right? I mean, yes, it's great technology and so on. But personally, when I look at the car, I think of it like, a normal four-door car, like saloon. It doesn't do anything for me. I don't. see the big fuss in the looks at all. Yes, the speed is probably, which I think is 3 point something. It's good,
Yeah.
but it just looked like a shell when you sit in it. It doesn't feel like there's any luxury feeling to it. So yeah. What about you? What do you think?
I'm struggling with it. I mean, from the time we saw that Porsche Taycan put his foot down, and it sounded like someone fired a laser. It was such a weird sound. It didn't provoke any emotion in me whatsoever, and that's the problem I have. Is that I go V8 every single time that I possibly can because there's an emotion there from it. You feel it. Like you said, you feel it. You hear it, you feel it, and it just feels like something different. I think with the Taycan, when I heard that go, I was like, that was weird. And that was the only thing. It wasn't even an emotion. It was just a thought.
Right.
Like, okay. So that's the problem. And I think to myself, like, if they're able to synthesize the sound inside, would it actually make a difference for me? So if they, you put your foot down, you've got 3, 2, whatever seconds to 60, and they synthesize a really, really nice V8 sound, would I actually care? That's what keeps ticking through my mind. Would I actually care enough to say, nah, it's synthesized, don't like it? Would it make any difference? And I think, actually, you know what? Sounds like a V8. Therefore, it tricks my brain enough. Let me do it.
That's it.
So I'm struggling with that bit at the moment to see whether I actually would or wouldn't. I'm not ready to. I'm still ready to go Mad Max, end of the world, 20, 30 years time, still with my last petrol engine, escaping the law, whatever it takes. But we'll see. I'm not convinced yet. Not ready to let go of the V8s. Because even, I mean, the C63, the next one, is going to be apparently a 2-liter. They're going to do a 4-cylinder 2-liter C63.
Wow.
So I may not have many options in my next car. I'm not going to do a 2-liter C63. Doesn't make any sense. They're fast. I know with the A-Class, A45, they're fast as hell. But it's just, the reason I didn't buy another GLA is because it just didn't have the same feel as the 63. So, but I may be out of options. It's like go electric or go C63. At that point, it probably doesn't make too much difference. So I'll see. I'm probably not very far away with my next car anyway, so not long to wait on that one. I think we've lost him again for a second.
Okay.
Back.
I'm back.
You're welcome.
Excellent.
Right, so I think we're probably going to call time on it for this week.
Absolutely.
We should be back again and said next week. We're going to try and keep this going week on week, guys. If there are topics that you want to cover, let us know. Errol will likely do a good few more of these sessions as well. So tune in, guys. Stay tuned, and we'll see you soon.
Excellent. Thanks, guys. Let us know what you want. Cheers. Bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.